Wonder Woman's son. That's right, son. When it comes to the next generation of superhero spawn, it's more typical when Diana is given a child for the story to go the daughter route. But that's not always the case. And given the history of the Amazons and their stance on males in the DC universe and outside, the idea of Wonder Woman raising a son raises some interesting questions. Double raise. One of the more prominent examples of this is Hunter Prince of Justice League Legacy, part of a future Justice League timeline. It got named Legacy after the storyline itself is called Legacy. It was one of those timelines that never ended up being. There are a lot of those floating around. We're going to take a look at him and dive into some of the intriguing prospects this dynamic could explore. I'm Sasha, this is Casually Comics, and it's time to take a look at more discarded Legacy characters, this time a Legacy League. Now, Hunter Prince is not the first exploration of Wonder Woman having a son, but he is the one that plays the most with what that could mean for her based on the Themysciran belief system, even if his story kind of dances around those elements a bit. One staple of Wonder Woman's sons, though, that he adheres to is the same that happens with Zod and Hyperman, and that is not being raised by Wonder Woman. Only in this case, he manages to avoid being kidnapped. Being Wonder Woman's son, it's not safe. Hunter Prince was created by Brian Hitch and Fernando Pizarro. He debuted in Justice League number 26 in 2017, so during the rebirth era of the title, but leading up to Metal. The story he would appear in is called Legacy and was a 6-issue storyline. It was about the children of the Justice League having to go back in time to the then present status quo to stop their world from being destroyed by a villain named the Sovereign and an entity known as the Darkness. No, it's not Top Cow crossover, sadly. No Jackie Estacado here. Hunter is presented as a leader figure in this future group of Leaguer's children, alongside Aquaman's daughter, Serenity. He's got his mother's lasso, some Greco-Roman influence in terms of the costume. There is a giant mosquito flying around. I'm a grown woman. Look, we don't like what we don't like. No judgment. Hunter is presented as a bit hard with this underlying layer of anger, but he does have a softness that can be seen when he's interacting with his girlfriend, Nora Allen, aka Cruz, even though they don't linger on that too much. How do we feel about Cruz as a Flash name? Cruising. Does cruising make you think about speed? Issue 26 is the team trying to get back in time to the Justice League, which they do, and it also serves to showcase their power sets and team dynamics. There's a lot of focus on the Flash spawn and their different abilities. It's issue 27 where we learn that Hunter is Wonder Woman's son, and why he has this simmering rage. I knew it would be like this. I don't know why I should have expected anything else from you. Come on, baby, let's just take a pill here, okay? Angry. Why would you be angry? What have I done? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You took one look at me and abandoned me, left me the minute I was born. Abandoned you? Because I wasn't a girl, I suppose. Wasn't an Amazon. Don't believe me? Use this. Face the truth. He's not lying. He's telling the truth. Is that a chin strap? Hunter, a chin strap. This scene is actually really interesting in that Diana doesn't reject this as something she wouldn't do, which opens up a whole bunch of concepts to ponder, given that by this point DC had introduced the sons of Themyscira. The idea that the male children were taken to an island, and there they just had to do labor for all their days, this under the control of Hephaestus. This is an alternative to them being thrown out to sea and drowned. There was a whole plot where Diana found out she had a twin brother, and she tried to integrate the sons of Themyscira into the rest of their society, and it went very badly. Themyscira and the Amazonian culture, based on its history within DC and how it's been traditionally portrayed, would not be okay with Diana having a male child. And there have been numerous plot lines where she tries to push back against some of their belief systems and it doesn't go well. Just even to little things like, hey, maybe the Justice League can come and hang out. They have helped me. No. The answer is no. This opens up many compelling or naturally provocative storylines, and it still would be if revisited. There are some male streamers who set foot on Themyscira because they're gonna get them views, and they get killed, straight up murdered. And it's very much played as a them's the break style happening. It's a canon event. Completely unrelated side note, have you seen how thirsty people are for Miguel O'Hara? It's been pretty amusing. Or creepy, depending upon how you view that kind of thing. Back to Hunter. This issue also reveals that Clark and Lois were the ones to raise him, but Clark is not his father, so there's a bit of a who is his father mystery. But that's not the angle they really push. They go more for a how could Wonder Woman do this? But this will vary based on how far-fetched you find the idea that she would give up a child based on the Themysciran belief systems in place, or whether you'd find that idea in and of itself shocking or not. Some people will, some people won't. Side note, these are the worst time-traveling children. They just start talking all about the future, who married who, etc. Jessica Cruz and Barry Allen's kids are the worst for this. Yeah, remember when DC was pushing Barry and Jessica as the hot new couple? I remember. Blast from the past, what a time. While Hunter is nostalgic when he goes to stay with Clark and Lois and John, he's also the most detached, which is really driven home in 28. He's well aware this is just an echo. He doesn't belong there. I know you would. You always believed you could save everybody, and I know you couldn't. I've seen it, lived it. The few of us who were left are a testament to what that that belief really gave the world.
You came back here believing you could change your own future, save your world. We still can.
It feels so good being back here, home with you, all but it's an illusion, an echo. You're already dead and have been for years. It just hasn't happened yet. Now this is also the issue where things start to unravel a bit plot-wise when it comes to the time travel element. Because the shocking reveal of Hunter's plan is they need to kill Wonder Woman because she has something to do with the downfall in the future. But let's think about this for a second. This made me fall down the what are the rules of time travel here rabbit hole. Wouldn't this just unmake Hunter Back to the Future style? Also, if they were to kill her, wouldn't that start a paradox? Because she would be the reason that they went back in the first place. Reverse Flash learned about this. You just gotta mess with people. The rules of time travel are out the window for shocking drama. The only thing is Hunter and Wonder Woman already had a lot of built-in drama that is now being sidestepped for this. This plotline is even a little bit undercut because he dislikes her so much. So you don't have any tension of going back and having to kill a beloved parent or anything like that. Even if you could still somehow exist dead, that's avoided because he really does not care for her, so he has no conflict about doing that. The drama is meant to come from the reader being concerned for Wonder Woman, but you never really feel like this Legacy League had a chance of pulling off what they were planning. So many ways you could have played this, like explaining that the world they were going to would no longer exist and that they would be okay with it, or were they not? This is all building up to another shocking reveal. She gave birth to me, but she's not my mother. No, not that. Hunter, huh? Diana's your mother? Who's your father? Not you. Take that, Steve. Not you. This isn't the Lyta timeline. Also, no, that's not the shocking thing either, but we're building up to it. It's related to it. As this plot goes on, the attempt to kill Wonder Woman fails, and their being back in time and just blabbing the future to everyone has altered events, and the darkness that infected and engulfed the world now moves faster, taking over Diana and earlier date. And it's revealed that Hunter is the spawn of this darkness, and Diana, somehow, has being created out of some form of creeping dark energy impacted Hunter in any way that can be seen. Not really. Special powers? Nope. Predisposition towards evil? Allegedly, but not shown as something inherent. You could argue that wanting to kill Wonder Woman is a sign of that. They framed it as kill one to save billions, but for some, this will land in that category of corruption by the darkness. Being raised by Superman just dealt away with that. Clark's that good. Why this is here is to flip the script a bit on why Wonder Woman gave Hunter up. It said that Hunter was meant to be some kind of harbinger of doom, like a new dark side. But Diana didn't want that, and even though she was corrupted by the darkness, she still wanted what was best for her child and for the world. And so she gave him up to Lois and Clark in the hopes that that would just stop what was going to happen. Their wholesomeness would cancel out the darkness's influence, which she could not do as she was already being consumed. But nobody ever told Hunter that, so he got to grow up bitter and thinking that his mom hated him, rather than knowing that she gave him up for a better life, which he potentially would not have believed or still had issues with, but still. Strike her down and become what you were born to be, what she kept you from becoming. The darkness likes to watch Star Wars on loop, I see. Did you wonder why she abandoned you? What? Don't listen. Kill her. The darkness had infected her. She'd felt it. It conceived you. It whispered to her that you would be its embodiment, a new power, a dark power, another Trigon, another dark side. She gave you up to save you. She held the darkness back long enough and gave you to the people she trusted most. Then, knowing that she was to infect the world, the purpose the kindred had given her, she took herself from it by her own hand. It was too late, though. The darkness had begun to infect everybody and grew over the years. You were safe, protected by love. There are lots of questions here, like why didn't the darkness find another host? Why didn't try to seek Hunter out earlier? That's not the questions we're supposed to be asking. We're supposed to sit in the fact that ultimately Wonder Woman loved him, which is a decent reveal, but just all of this time travel darkness plot in and of itself is a little bit clunky. And there were other ways to get to this she gave him up for love plot that didn't need to involve this. For example, giving him up so that he wouldn't be murdered by her people or forced to live on essentially a slave labor island. That could also be an act of love. But this explanation ties in more with the kindred darkness plot, and that's what they're working with, so that's what they're going for. And it also does make the Amazons look a bit better and hopefully sidetracks you from the thought process that I've been stuck in for this entire plotline. Just like I can't stop hearing that commercial for the darkness too every time I say the darkness. I never asked for the darkness. I'm so bad at that game. So bad. I can't stop thinking about all the different questions that having a son would raise for Diana. Would she have had to just not return to Themyscira with him? Or just with the act of having him mean she could never return? Or could she just just not tell anybody about him? Would he have been a secret son? Would she have kept that secret from him? Maybe had him raised by somebody else and not know that she's his mother? Or would she tell him? There's so many possibilities. Now, of course, hearing this instantly cures all of his decades of emotional angst.
I can hear it in all of them.
You're the part of it that got away. That was loved. It's part of you too. That's right. We're solving this with the power of love. There wasn't enough friendship, and we were full up on love. And so they saved the world. If I'm there, give me a chance.
If one day I'm blessed to be your son, remember how proud I feel right now.
That's sweet. Genuinely. Of course, in vanquishing the dark and its entity, I'm not sure how Hunter can exist, but it's still sweet. Enjoy non-existence, Hunter, or existing in some kind of outside of time space. I thought you were kind of cool. What we see instead of anybody vanishing from existence is Justice League now deemed legacy going back to their time. And what happened to them? Well, right after this, DC went into the Dark Knight's Metal event, and so they kind of got shuffled off into just, ooh, it's an alternate timeline that we see sometimes, time for recording, like really just in the background. It got dropped real quick. Now, not all of the points surrounding Hunter came together, particularly around his father and the time travel, but the idea of Wonder Woman having a son is interesting, and Hunter personified some of those engaging concepts. Wonder Woman is often presented as this all-encompassing female figure, and sometimes some writers take that to mean that she must embody all the traits of femininity at once. So interrogating the idea of her as a mother, or if she would be a good one, want to be one, what does being a good mother or parent look like, and can that involve having to give up your child, is really interesting. There are some deep ideas there that can be played with in multiple ways. They don't have to be hammered in over the head, but you can play with them in different plot lines. Hunter was one such potentiality, even if with him they only skimmed the surface. The inherent conflict that Hunter's existence could have presented for Diana, just on the regular in terms of her relationship with her people, or just with her friends, just everybody is sidestepped here. Another reason to not want Hunter could be just because of the violation by the darkness and the discomfort surrounding that. There are lots of things that could have been played with. There are some who would also prefer if it went in a different direction, one that's potentially less fraught with emotional drama. Hunter raised on the island, and the idea of him being raised in this matriarchal society making him a different type of man, and him then taking that into man's world. Or just more happy stories in general that don't get into any of that deep angst. Where I live, right into the drama zone. Now, while the idea of a more positive experience for Hunter is intriguing to me, that would be stretching what has been shown with the Amazons canonically. The lack of tolerance towards males is a conflict to work through, something narratively that renders them difficult and flawed despite all of their own values, and the good that they can also do. It's something for the reader to wrestle with, and something for them to consider how much of it they agree or don't agree with. Intellectually stimulating. Or do you feel that if Wonder Woman had a son, they would make an exception, or that would be an excuse to write that into them as a people? Just that would be the catalyst. Would he be accepted by all in Themyscira? Would that cause any schisms with the other women who had to give up their sons or kill them? Would they view Diana as odd for even wanting to keep a son in the first place? See, there are so many ideas that one can play with and work through. The idea of Amazons also having to contend with a legacy Wonder Man and him wielding the lasso as well as all their precious artifacts, given their history, or would he even be able to wield them depending upon which history you're going with? There are so many stories here. Hunter wasn't a terrible character, but the direction that they took him with left him a little bit more generic than he had to be. His anger and where it came from was genuine and interesting, but the execution left a little bit to be desired. However, regardless of how one found him, he was cursed to be from one of those this is the future timelines that locks characters down in a way that people tend not to like, regardless of how well implemented it is or isn't. Although, of course, doing it well gives you a better shot in the long run. Another thing that doomed Hunter was the fact that he debuted right before a universe shakeup. Very few characters can survive and transition out of that. Time of recording. Maybe Hunter has returned. But what did you think of Hunter? Would you bring him back? Would you try a different plot line surrounding Wonder Woman having a son? Or if she is going to have children, would you prefer that it's a daughter character? Do you feel that that avenue hasn't been explored enough yet? Or that there's more to do there? Can you see a positive outcome for Hunter on Themyscira? What stories could you envision for him in general? Let's chat about Hunter. He came in number 2 on the Who Would You Like to Know More About poll, right behind Trinity. And we did that one. I'll link it down below. All of these were just my thoughts, and now I want to hear yours. Put them down below, and while you're down there, please do all YouTube things like share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time to spend discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. That was so fast, like the Flash. Or cruising. Cruising has too many other meanings for me to take it seriously. Okay, bye-bye.